Okay, today we're going to install a 4-panel masonite door slab in our existing opening. What we're going to do first, we're going to take our screw gun, we're going to mount our hinges on the opening. This way here there'll be no problem when you take measurements for the door. In this particular door, there used to be a door here before. It's missing for some reason, so all the hardware is missing, but the slots are already cut in for your hinges, so it's not a big deal on this one. Just line up all your holes, screw your hinges in, and then what we'll do, we'll take all our measurements from top of door frame down to the hinge measurements. This way here we won't have any problems, everything will work well, and we'll have a brand new door on. Sometimes in these older homes, the jambs are already all set, so you just get the slabs. Some construction, when you're moving walls and stuff, you'd like to just buy a pre-hung door, which costs you roughly about $100. A door like this here costs you roughly about $70 to buy the slab. Then you buy all your hardware, your hinges, your doorknobs, everything, and you go from there. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a measurement from the very top of the jamb down to the hinge. We have 8 1/8. We're going to minus 1/4 of an inch so we have play at the top of the door. So from the top of the door down, we're going to measure the door so we can have it fit perfectly. What we'll do, we'll lay the door down on its side. And we had 8 1/8 to start with. So you're going to mark that. Now you want to come up 1/4 of an inch, so you're going to have 7 7/8 is going to be your first hinge. Now what you got to do, you want to take and pop your pin out so you can have half of the, half the hinge. You take your half of the hinge and you're going to hold it on the door as so, lining it up with the outer edge on your mark. You're going to take a screw. Now you're going to put your 3 screws in. Everybody has their own way of doing certain different jobs. What some people will do, they'll measure both hinges at the same time. I only measure one hinge. I'll hang it on the one hinge, and then we'll pull down, and the other hinge will line up exactly. If you do it the other way, you have a lot of problems sometimes getting them to line up because there is almost zero tolerance in the way you can hang a door. So now what we'll do, we'll come over, make sure this is pushed in. We'll put our pin back in the door, as so. We'll tap the pin down. Now what we'll do, we'll open the door up, and we will mount our hinge down at the bottom as so. It's so much easier to use a screw gun in these cases because you don't have to worry about having electric around. Screwdrivers, you'll be here forever. It's the best investment you could have for yourself is a nice cordless screw gun. There, right now we already got our hinges on. We'll check the door to make sure it shuts fine, which it does. Door closes perfectly. You can see there's a nice gap at the top and down the side. Now what we'll do, we'll measure for our door lock. And how you do that, you find center position of your door. This way here, we know center position is roughly 36 inches. We will mark 36 inches on there. We will measure in 2 3/8 of an inch because that is your center part of your lock bore. This way here, you have no problem. What we'll have to do now is change our bit so we can drill the 2 1/8 bore on our door lock. We're going to drill our lock. We have our center mark. This way here we'll have no problem. Draw our center mark right to the edge of the door, because you're going to have to cut another hole in after this one for the back set. Do is line your pilot drill right up on your X and drill through. These doors here, even though they're a hollow core door, they have a solid wood block running down the edge, so you have no problem with the doors, with your lock set. What we always try to do is check the other side. As soon as your pilot hole comes through, you want to drill through both sides, because what will end up happening is you could splinter the other side and you'll end up with a mess on your door. So now what we'll do, we'll put it against the wall and we'll go nice and easy. You've already went through most of the door the other way. Now you'll go all the way through, which is not a problem. Now what we're going to do, we're going to change our bit one more time to a 15/16 bit. This way here, that is what your bore has to be for your back set of the lock. Now what we'll do, we're going to bring our mark straight across, like that. You're going to take tape measure. These here being an 1 3/8 door, your back set is 11/16 to the center of your drill holes. That would be, you make sure you have dead center. This way here the back set can line up perfectly. Now you'll just make sure you hold the door, drill always dead square into the door so it goes right through nice and easy. There, now that we have that in, what we're going to do now, we're going to take our back set, we're going to push our back set in. Sometimes they're a little tough, a little tighter than others. You're going to put your back set in. You're going to make sure everything works well. Going to turn it straight. You can set your knob on to make sure everything works properly. Make sure everything is good before you unlock it a few times. Make sure everything is nice. Everything lines up good. I will change back to our screw bit. And we'll put our 2 screws into our back set first. This way here, it doesn't move as you're trying to tighten up the lock. This one here being a bedroom doorknob, make sure your lock is on the inside. Line up all your holes. They should just slide right together. And you have 2 little screws that hold it together. They'll just go in. Make sure they line up do them hand tight. Make sure they work. And then you can just put them right in with the screw gun. Which now, make sure it works nice. Sometimes you might have to back off just a little bit because it'll over tighten. And we have that all set. Now what we're going to do, close the door tightly, mark to the center of your back set. So you're going to have to drill a hole now, which will also be 11/16 of an inch from your stop out to your center of the hole. This is so you can put a your back set latch on. We're going to change back to our bit. Now we're going to drill in roughly a ½ an inch. This way here you'll have no problem. You'll see the door closes nice. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take our striker plate and we're going to mount it right in the center of the hole using your screw gun. Again, now you're going to change back one more time. It's not a big deal to change all the time. It's just things that have to be done. We're going to put our back set right in the center. We put one screw in first to make sure it lines up nice. What we'll do, we'll push that. Now the door is nice and tight. And we'll put the last screw in. And there. We've hung a nice 4-panel masonite door which matches the other doors in the apartment. What we'll have to do is give it a nice coat of paint. What we'll do, we'll take off the hardware before we paint it. This makes it easier for the painters. But other than that, the door's all set. Okay, here we're in a bathroom. We're going to hang a medicine cabinet. What we're going to do is, we found one that fits exactly the size of the top. We're going to put it up above the vanity, and we're going to screw it into the wall. What we're going to do, we're going to use drywall screws. It's the easiest way. What we'll do, we'll get one started in the medicine cabinet. This way here, when we lift it up, there'll be no problem. We won't have to be fighting it. So what we're going to do, we're going to take it. We're going to try to stay pretty well even with the side of the medicine, with the vanity. We're going to take it, hold it up with one hand. This way here, you have no problems. Hold it up. You'll put your one screw in. And now what you'll do, we'll open the other side up. We'll get another screw started. Then what we'll do, we'll set a 2-foot level on the top of the medicine cabinet so we can make sure that the cabinet itself is level, and then we'll finish screwing it in. But first we'll get a screw started just into the wood of the cabinet. Set it on the top, adjust so it's level. There, the cabinet's now dead level. We'll put our other screw in. And now our medicine cabinet is now hung. What we're going to do is put 2 more down in the bottom, just for security purposes, and we'll be all set. This medicine cabinet is a little more expensive than a normal one. This one here is a $99 cabinet. What we normally put in is $49 cabinets. We always match. Either if we have an oak base, we'll use oak. If we have a white base, we'll use white. This one here just happened to be white, so that's what we used. Now your medicine cabinet's on. All we have to do now is take our gold-plated knobs and install them onto the... They've already got pre-drilled holes, so there's no problem. We'll put the screw through the back and just tighten up. We'll use our screw gun to tighten it up. It's just because it's here and it's a little faster. There, that one's already installed. Now the other one, you have to be careful. Sometimes you get materials from your supplier that will be short screws and stuff. This one here just happens to be short a screw. We'll leave it off to the side for right now, and we'll just pick up another screw. We probably have one in the truck. Here we found one. It was in a different part of the container. So now we'll be able to finish this and put the shelving in. Again, we'll just tighten it up with our screw gun. Makes things a little easier. Anytime you could do something Mechanically, it's a little easier than using hand screwdrivers. We'll set our plastic pegs in to the holes that are designed for them, making sure they're all the way in. Sometimes you have to give them a little tap. We just use the back of the screw gun. That's all set. We'll take the other ones and also put them in. Make sure you align them with the ones on the other side. Now they're in, and we'll just take our shelves which come through. You see that only one side is finished on the front. Make sure you put that side in, and there, your shelf is now installed. And that's all there is to hanging a medicine cabinet. Here we're going to show you a little bit of tile work. As you can see, most of the bathroom's in very good shape. We had a little water damage on this wall, so we popped off all the tiles, threw away what we didn't need, and we put a new piece of sheetrock in, and now we're going to retile this. What we do, we use a mastic mortar set. It's just a one-part epoxy you get in ceramic tile mastic. You put it on with a trowel with an 1/8 inch notched groove. You take it out of your thing and you just put it right on the wall, and you spread it over everything nice and evenly. This way here, your tile will set into the joints nicely. You'll have no problem with it adhering to anything. You only do approximately 12, you could do up to about 12 square feet at a time because the glue won't set up that quick. We only got a small area here, so we'll do most of it, and then we'll start setting some tiles. What we're going to do, we're going to work, because it's a patch job, we're going to work from the old tile to the tub. This way here, all your grout seams will line up nicely, everything will work out good, and you won't have any problems. When we're doing new work, we normally start find the center of the tub and work from the center to both sides, and start from the bottom and work our way up. We always start with a full tile. This way here, everything works out very nice. Your tile sits right down onto the top of the tub, and everything works out good this way. And we've never usually had much of a problem. What you do, you'll tile it one day, the next day you'll come back and you'll run the grout, you'll sponge grout everything in, and it'll work out nice. There, we got some mastic on, and now what we're going to do, we're going to start over here in the corner. These tiles here are exact same color, so they're going to match in nice. I'm going to start here just by moving them around, pushing them in, and they set right in. The glue works very nicely, so there's never a problem with them sticking. Now everything's working nice. Just keep working your way over. Okay, because we're using older tiles, sometimes you're going to have a little bit of grout stuck to the edges, so you want to make sure you just take a putty knife and you can quickly go around the edges. This way here, everything lines up very nicely. You don't want to have it obvious that this was a patch job. This way here, it'll blend right in. Everything will be nice. Sometimes what we'll do is, if it's too messed up, we'll pull everything off. But we try not to as much as possible. We try to do as little bit of repair work as possible. This way here, got to remember, that tile there, we're going to have to replace that one tile. Sometimes the tiles are a little tight going in, and you're going to have to just fudge with them. You might need to push them a little bit one way or the other. What we'll do, we'll start back over on the other edge and just keep going around, making sure all your grout seams all your tile edges are clean, because that will make a big difference on how they'll go in. Now, we'll start right here with your next row down. Just keep going one row at a time, going across. This way here, everything lines up nicely. You don't have any problems. Just take one at a time. It doesn't take you very long. The mortar set really holds the tile in place very nicely. It's all water-based, so you don't have to worry if it gets on the tile, it'll all wash off. When you're all done, after you grout it and everything washes off. Very nice and easy. A job like this, tile's rather inexpensive. Most people get probably in this area somewhere around $4 to $4.25 a square foot. And that's also depending on your area. The type of tile, we use just a regular inexpensive wall tile. These tiles here cost somewhere around 30 cents a piece. But you got to remember, it takes quite a few tiles to make 1 square feet, I think. And you also got to add in the cost of your glue and all your materials, everything. This is how you end up with, like, if you use a rough estimate of $4 a square foot for doing tile work, you'll always be safe. Okay, over here you'll notice we took the tile off this wall. All the walls around are level with here. So what we did, we took the tile off that wall there to reuse inside the shower area. What we'll do, we'll skim coat that area with compound and we'll just repaint it. This way here, your tiles match exactly in the tub that were there before, because we cannot buy this exact color because it's probably about 20 years old and they just don't make it any longer. So that was our best solution, cheapest solution out, and the easiest way out. Okay, now we found a tile. I think they should fit in here rather easily. What we're going to do, it's called back buttering of the tile. We got glue on there already, but being this is the last one, we're going to take and just put the glue on the tile. This way here, it just gives you a little extra security on putting this tile in, making sure everything's going to stick. What we'll do, we'll make sure this tile slides in there. Sometimes they're a little stubborn, but they'll go. Yep, we got that one in. Now we're all set. This way here, now we're ready to finish everything up. Tomorrow when we come back, we'll grout this all in. This way here, it's a done, finished deal. It's all nice white grout. We'll make sure everything is all cleaned up, and everything will look nice.
All right, now we're getting ready to put the finishing touches on the house on Frost Road. And what we're going to do here is display on how to put light fixtures up. This box has 8 light fixtures in. I buy them by 200 at a time. I get a $2 discount to do that. I pay about $14.50 per light fixture. I use a size that's about 13 inches in diameter. You can get them at Home Depot or Lowe's. The bigger ones are around $25 a piece. The small ones run around $9 to $10. I go with a medium-sized light fixture at 13 inches in diameter. Marcos is going to show you how to put them up and take the old fixture down. Go ahead. The first thing you got to do is get rid of the old light fixtures. And basically you just unscrew them and pull it down. Now the most important thing is to make sure that you have all the power shut off to the house before you start to do this. There's a lot of old tape on this light fixture, so he's just going to peel it all off. The average single-family house has about 8 to 13 light fixtures. So it goes into the miscellaneous section of our repair estimate. To change all the lights is roughly around $250 to $300 in this house. So I do not itemize that out separately. It just goes into the miscellaneous category. Now you could go crazy and spend a lot of money. Some of the dining room fixtures can be as high as $200 to $300. We use a middle grade fixture if we're going to do a chandelier. We spend no more than $60 to $65 on a chandelier for the dining room. All right, all he's doing now is stripping back some of the old tape and the old wires. What Marcos has to do is get the old bracket out. He won't need that to attach the new light fixture to it. So the first thing he's going to do is take the old bracket from the old fixture out of there. Now, in an old house like this, it's hard to tell what is black and what is white, and there's no ground. If you're changing light fixtures in a new house, the white wire is the ground wire. But in this house, we don't have a ground. Okay, Marcos is going to put up the new bracket that comes with the light fixture. It's going to mount it up into the ceiling. The base of the light fixture will mount to that. The 2 white wires will be attached with a cap to the left side. The 2 black wires will be attached to the other wire from the ceiling. Now you kind of got to squeeze everything in there together. Try to get the 2 screws in place and then just tighten it up. Okay, the next thing you do is to fasten the globe to the bottom. And you want to make sure you put in 2 60-watt bulbs. This fixture calls for 60 watts, and that's what we're going to use. It's a good idea to test the light before you put the globe up. Ah, it works. Just slide the base on. So the total time for installation is somewhere around 10 minutes. What I want to do here is just give you an idea of what we put in for appliances for the homeowners. This is a Whirlpool refurbished refrigerator. I paid $175 for it in an almond color. I also bought the almond electric stove to go with it. I paid $175 for it as well. So to have them both delivered, the old appliances removed, with the sales tax, it comes out to about $400 for both. If I was going to put a dishwasher in, I usually pay about $150 for a dishwasher. Most of my buyers are no money down FHAs, and they don't have money to put brand new appliances in the house if I don't put any in. So I prefer to put the appliances in for the $400 cost. If they do have their own, I'll just remove them and have them sent to the next house. To buy brand new ones, they're about $1,500 for a stove and refrigerator. So I find it's easier just to go ahead and spend the $400 on the used ones instead of putting brand new ones in at a later date. Okay, we're starting to come to the conclusion of your educational rehab videos. But what I do want to do with you is walk through one house from beginning to end and go through all the major components of estimating the jobs. This will prove to you how you need to get out and make an estimate very quick on a house in order to get your offer submitted. This is a house on 143 DeWitt Street in Waterbury that we're going to walk through. All right, the first thing we need to do is look at the outside. The house has been for sale over 6 months. I can tell you on the outside of the house, the paint is peeling all around. So it's going to have to be painted on the exterior. And the colors are a light beige and tan. I would not change the color of the house in any way. The house is around 2,500 square feet. So the paint job should be somewhere around $4,500 here. I can tell by looking at the roof, there's probably about 5 or 7 years left in the life of the roof. But unfortunately, the shingles are starting to curl. The top of the roof are starting to get awful lumpy. I would strip the roof and redo it. That way it's brand new. This house is smaller than 31 Academy Avenue, so I would say the roof estimate will be close to $5,000. The yard work does need some finishing touches here. The house has been empty for about 2 years now. I would have Jason come through, clean up all the leaves, trim all the bushes back. So we're looking around $1,000 for the yard work. So the exterior right now as it stands is $10,500 on an estimate. So now what we'll do is go inside and look at the damage to the inside of the house. All right, here we are in the front foyer. And you can see the house is quite a mess. The first thing I notice is the sheetrock has fallen from the ceiling to the floor. With all the peeling paint on the inside, this is typical in New England in the winter. I can tell this house has had no heat for at least one complete winter. That's probably what's resulting in a lot of the damage to the walls. It'll have to be scraped and painted. So let's step into the dining room because there are some definite issues here. This is a foreclosed property. The bank has had all the carpets removed. I'm sure they were dogs living in the house because I can tell by the odor. But what concerns me even more is the heaving of the hardwood floors underneath the carpeting. As you can see, they're severely buckled here. This is a sign of water damage. It is also evident from the radiators. They're cracked. It means the whole heating system in this house is shot. The furnace and all the radiators will have to be changed. It must have froze up last winter. The heating system alone will be about $6,000. What I would do with the floor is take out all the wood planks and just throw them out. We're going to carpet this entire house. There's no way we can save the hardwood floors. Carpeting estimate on a 2,500 square foot house be somewhere around $3,000 for the carpeting. Now let's go on into the kitchen and see what we have there. Obviously there's been vandals in the house. You can see what they've done to the pantry. The kitchen all has to be torn out. It's going to be all removed. This has all got to go. 1960s. Here you can see a radiator actually built into the cabinets. I'm sure it exploded as well, so it'll need to come out, and all new baseboard heat's going to have to be put in the house. Kitchen is kind of an odd shape here. Plus with the pantry, it's going to need new cabinets as well. So this kitchen's going to be a little bit more labor intensive than just a basic kitchen. Looking somewhere here, probably close to $2,500 to buy the cabinets and to install them. The kitchen floor is filthy. We're going to do brand new linoleum here. That'll be part of the $3,000 carpet estimate. The broken doors and all the broken windows will be included in the miscellaneous category. With the condition of this house, I would say somewhere around $3,000 for miscellaneous. That's going to be close to 10% of the total rehab project. We're going to need appliances. We'll need a stove and a refrigerator. That'll be $500. So we'll keep track of all the repairs and give you a total sum at the end. Okay, before we do go upstairs though, the house is at least sitting level. There's no rolls in the floor other than where the wood is deteriorated. So the house structurally seems to be in good condition. You can see the vandals destroyed the staircase. It is going to have to be rebuilt. So I'm going to put $1,000 in for the staircase, and all the spindles upstairs are torn out. Let's go around to the living room. The house has extensive damage to the plaster walls. I can tell they're plaster by the gray residue here from where they were hitting the wall. It's just going to be easier to re-sheetrock this entire wall than try to fill all these holes. Between the damage here and damage to the ceilings from the water, we're looking somewhere probably around $2,000, $2,500 in just preparation of the walls alone. You can see that the cold from last winter caused all the paint to peel. This will all have to be scraped off and compounded. So I can see the sheetrock's going to be close to $2,500 here as well. So we'll go upstairs now. This is the first of the bedrooms. It's a decent size with a decent closet. Here, it's just interior paint and a little bit of patching. Nothing drastic here as far as damage goes. So let's move on. All right, the second bedroom is a good size. It's probably 11 by 12. I can see that they cut a hole in the wall here to access the plumbing in the bathroom. So that leads me to believe there's probably leaks in the bathroom. The hardwood floors are nice here, but in order to save them, it would take a lot of extra labor time to plastic over them and to keep them from being painted. We're just going to carpet the whole house. The hallway's got severe buckles in it as well from the freeze damage from the water. And it looks like they vandalized the bathroom. And I'm sure we have frozen pipes in the wall. That's the hardest part in New England, is to get all the leaks out of the walls. The plumber's probably going to have to make some cuts to find the leaks for inside the walls, which means there'll be extra sheetrock and patching that needs to be done. The vanity is 1960s. The medicine cabinet has been demolished. I'm sure the toilet probably cracked from the freeze damage. And the tub is older as well. Plus, the pink tiles are not attractive anymore. So we need to do an entire bathroom. It's not a big bathroom, but we're probably still looking around $2,500 to take care of everything here. Okay, the last room in the house is the master bedroom. Again, I have obvious signs of the freeze damage. I have the dark stains from the radiators in the hardwood floor. Sometimes that'll be the only sign that you have. You may only find one radiator that's cracked. So anytime you see stains on the floor like this, beware. The cast iron is the strongest part of the heating system. So if the radiator's cracked, the inside of the furnace did as well. Now, the house does have some positive aspects. It's got a huge living room with a fireplace. It does have a garage, and it's got a huge master bedroom. They are very attractive features. I'm sure a lot of you are asking me, would you do this? Would you buy this house? I personally would. I know this house is very easy to sell. This is a very attractive neighborhood in Waterbury. There are very few houses that come up for rehab in this neighborhood. That's probably why the bank is asking $69,000 for it. But the ARV on this house is $105,000. The average realtor would probably list this house for $95,000. I know I can get $105,000. The reason I can get $105,000 is, let's look at the repairs. The roof is $5,000. Paint on the exterior is $4,500. Kitchen is around $2,500 plus $500 for the appliances. To patch all the holes in the wall and the sheetrock, I'm saying $2,500. The heating system and a new hot water heater will be $6,000. Interior paint should be close to $2,000. Carpet will be $3,000. I need a dumpster or two to get rid of the shingles and all of the problems we have in the house, to tear out all the kitchens, to remove all the hardwood and any other debris that we need to get rid of. So I'm going to put $1,000 in for garbage removal. I have $1,000 in landscaping. My miscellaneous category, I'm going to move to $4,000. There's a lot of light fixtures for this house, a lot of broken glass, so I'm going to make it $4,000 for miscellaneous. I have $2,500 in my bathroom, and I have $1,000 to fix the staircase. When I tally it all up, it comes out to $35,500, and that's what it's going to take to fix the house. The electrical system is a 100-amp circuit breaker, so there's nothing to be done there. There's no reason to go down in the basement because I can tell you the furnace and the hot water heater are blown out, so we don't need to give you a picture of those. So that's what we're looking at, and that's just about how quickly I do a repair estimate. As you can see, it's probably been about 10 minutes from beginning to end. At this point, the bank is asking $69,000. The most I can pay is around $32,000, so we're way out of line. That will not stop me from making an offer on this property. I will put it in at $32,000. I will call them every 2 weeks until I get an answer one way or another. The reason I do that, I know there's no one else that will buy this house in this condition. It has to be an all-cash transaction. No one will be able to get financing on this house. Any buyer that has $30,000 or $40,000 to put into a home is not going to buy a $95,000 or $100,000 house in Waterbury. They'll buy a $250,000 or a $300,000 home in the next town over. The number of buyers for this house are very few. And it takes a very experienced rehabber to purchase a property with this amount of work. This house would probably take my crew about 30 days to complete from beginning to end. The most important thing would be to get the heating system in first so that there's heat in this house, especially if we're going to try to rehab this in the middle of the winter. The plumber would need 4 or 5 days first to get everything in working order to have heat before we could start to sheetrock and start to tear everything out. So that's where we are. I'm going to go back to the office now. I'm going to write it up and get it in today. These are renovation tapes. I want to wish you much success, and I hope you have a lot of fun renovating houses in the future. And I just want to say thanks for purchasing the tapes.